And welcome back to another edition of our book club. This is chapter 6 of A Promised Land, Barack Obama's new book. This was interesting. It was interesting. I know I say that about everyone. I need to get a new word to use. The interesting part about the book, though, about chapter 6, is that it deals with riding the high and then figuring out when things don't necessarily go your way, that this is where you're meant to be. I was struck by one thing. President Obama talks about winning Iowa and the euphoria that came with winning Iowa, and how that all of a sudden in the public eyes made them the favorite. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is that in the public eyes it made them the favorite, but they went over to New Hampshire, and then in the New Hampshire primary lost. And the backlash that came from that, all of the different political pundits that said, oh, well, Iowa was a fluke, or Hillary has restored balance. It talked to me about the fickleness of the outside world, and how if you're looking to the outside world for validation, you're never going to find it. I liken this as a football coach to the way we think about the media and the way we think about fans, and the fact that a lot of times our actions, if we're not careful, our actions can be depicted by what fans or people on the outside believe that we should be doing. And it's so easy for us to get out of the groove of what we know we should be doing versus what people on the outside believe we should be doing. It's something that I've dealt with personally. It's something that I've seen my colleagues who are coaches deal with. Is something that I've seen people from afar deal with at all levels. Believe it or not, there's pressure on a youth level coach to win. Those people who are standing on the fence, yelling about why they're not doing this, or they should be doing that, or my kids should be doing this, or my kids should be doing that. Those are the same people who are not there on a day in, day out basis at practice, watching what their kids are doing or watching what they're trying to do as a full team. Yet they're still critical of that youth league coach. So if the youth league coach is going to get that type of criticism, you can only imagine the type of criticism and backlash that a high school coach is going to get. And if a high school coach is going to get that, you can only imagine what a college coach is getting. And then in the pros, it's no holds barred, because now you're getting paid ridiculous amounts of money. You could say that about college as well, but there are some college coaches that are not making a lot of money. Only the ones at the upper levels of the Division I ranks are making the type of money that people believe every coach makes. But in the NFL, every coach is making millions of dollars. And so that becomes something that you understand is going to come with the job. But the reality is that type of criticism, those types of highs and lows, like President Obama saw with the reaction and what it was after Iowa versus the reaction and what it was after New Hampshire, gives you the idea of how different, how finicky fans in the media can be when it comes to the profession. It's something that all leaders have to deal with. Not everybody is going to love the decisions that you make, but you make them because you feel that they are in the best interest of the team. Not necessarily even the best interest of yourself, but the best interest of the team. Sometimes you make decisions because they're in the best interest of a particular player, where this player plays versus where that player thinks they may play. You think you're a point guard, but your handle's a little suspect. We're playing against a team that likes to employ pressure defense. We're going to take you off the ball. Somebody looks out from the outside and goes, oh, That kid's a point guard. You got to get the ball in their hand. They don't understand that point guard deals with pressure, doesn't deal with pressure very well, or handle isn't quite where it needs to be in order to be able to handle that pressure. You know it. The kid knows it. And the player is thankful that you've given them the opportunity to not have to feel that level of pressure. But that doesn't mean that the outside world understands it. Sometimes player doesn't even understand it. There are moves that President Obama made in this book, in chapter 6, that he did with the understanding. He did with the understanding that it wasn't necessarily going to be the popular thing to do. I like the way he spoke about when he lost in New Hampshire, how they didn't really change much from the speech because they were expecting to win, and they had all of these people lined up waiting to hear the speech, and that speech became one of his more bedrock speeches. One of those speeches where the "yes, we can" really took hold. He said that it was a time where if they knew that he deserved to run, that they really understood that he could handle the pressures of the position. Because so much of what had been made was, okay, well, you know, he's able to evoke this type of emotion, but can he really handle the rigors of the position? And you don't really understand what you're capable of as a leader, and especially in this case as a coach, until you're put underneath the gun and people are saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be here. You're responsible for the reason why this team is losing, or you're putting these kids in a bad position," and all these other things. And you don't really know if you're built for that until you're put into that position. And then it becomes, how are you going to respond? What are you going to do that's different? How are you going to distinguish yourself from someone else? That's what makes you you as a leader. That's what makes you as a difference maker. I feel like that's what made President Obama different, his ability to, as he says, stay calm when everything's going haywire around him. That's what we have to do as coaches. Everybody's panicking. Everything's going crazy. Assistant coaches are losing their mind. Players are like about to, turn on each other. And all the while, this coach has to be here. And he has to be firm, and he has to be fair, and he has to be straight in line. Like, look, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to continue to strive forward. And that's one of those things that I took from this chapter. I thought it was a fantastic chapter to look at that, and the way in which he moved after victory and then after what was looked at as defeat, and ultimately led him to where we know he is now. So join us for chapter 7. Again, this was chapter 6, book club, A Promised Land of Barack Obama's new book. I've been Coach Gene Clemens. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We'll talk to you soon.